Who are you?
I'm Frank Hansen.
Frank Hansen.
Frank Hansen.
And you're not.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to my fucking movie. Sports. Suck.
Yeah, let's talk about.
I'm coming from, childhood things and just pure weirdness, but also a sense of what's going on in this world. And if I can't do anything about it, I can sure paint about it.
Yeah.
I don't really control what I paint. I don't sit down and think, I'm going to paint something that's going to be hard to talk about in front of strangers and it's going to be really deep and make me cry. Sometimes it happens. I don't think too much about that. I just do it, and people like it or don't like it. And is that important? It's still kind of shocking, that you're putting out your good hard money. You're choosing to spend your money on this thing I did. That's pretty cool.
I'm smarter than you. I'm harder than you. I'm better than you. I'm just wrong. I'm hotter than you. More popular than you. More clever than you. And gosh darn it, people like me.
Do you actually get emotional when you paint?
I've never cried and painted, if that's what you mean. I've been very angry and painted. The painting didn't make me angry. I'm angry when I started, and that's what it's usually about. I found that every time, as soon as I start painting, within about 5 minutes, I forgot what I was mad or depressed about, and it's all gone. That's why I'm down here so much.
I'm smarter than you. I'm harder than you. I'm better than you. I'm just wrong. I'm hotter than you. More popular than you. More clever than you. And gosh darn it, people like me.
From a young age, I was exposed to a lot of different stuff. We lived on a farm, and we went to farm sales and auctions and had a barn full of junk, basically. And, some valuable, some not, some very interesting looking. And all these visuals were stuck in my brain at a young age. And the idea of using them in my art just seemed natural. My dad was like the wildest man in Audubon County, and my mom was a very good girl, and they went out 3 times before he asked her to marry him. My family's a lot like The Simpsons, only my dad wasn't as stupid as Homer, and my little brother is a boy, and Maggie's a girl. Horrible things going on that I'm really worried or depressed or mad about, and I'm sorry if it isn't cute and nice for your movie. It's on tape and it's weird, all the faces I was making and the jumping around like an idiot. I got nothing to lose anymore. I just want to belly flop on the thing and go. Ah! Boom, 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 boom. Another Day in Paradise was about a bad day at work. The sump pit was full of this nasty water that was being pumped out up through the window of this basement. And the hose had a few holes in it, and it was spraying right on my radio and on the box where everything was plugged in. So I'm going over trying to save my nice radio and not short out the whole house, and then the weight of the hose pulls it out of the window, and it just sprayed me with this nasty ass water. That I proceeded to freak out and smash everything in the basement with my hammer, and I snapped. I came home and did a painting like immediately about it, and it's one of my best. And the guy's wearing a shirt that says "Spray me with shit," like a kick me sign on someone's back. It says on there, "Why did he wear that shirt to work?" Yeah, if you ask for it, it'll happen.
Now, first I was a plumber, and then a guru priest. Letting little old things just to keep my palm greased. Wear a white leather suit with Italian shoes. Got a $50,000 a year case of the blues. Baby, I'm a fine artist.
Puparella, she thinks she is so beautiful, and she's happy with herself, and the girl really isn't a Cinderella, but since her name rhymes with that, she feels she is. I'm not Cinderella, I'm Puparella. It's equal, and good for her. Sports, suck,
let's
suck,
talk about
suck.
sports. Okay, what's your favorite sport?
That's hacky sack a sport. Pinball. If it was in wrestling, I'd get pinned after my leg would get hit, or track, I'd be the last one in, or football, I'd get knocked down and we'd have to call a timeout, and the coaches all thought I was a pussy, and maybe I was somewhat, but there was something wrong with my leg. They said it was like a whole plate of spaghetti in my leg, with some of the pieces of spaghetti being as big as your thumb.
I'm smarter than you, I'm harder than you, I'm better than you, I'm just wrong. I'm hotter than you, more popular than you, more clever than you, and gosh darn it, people like me.
I was in the hospital the first 6 weeks of my life in an incubator because I was very premature. I weighed 315. The doctor said I wouldn't live through the night. My dad said that my arms were as big as pencils and my head was as big as a baseball, and I was really hairy.
I'm smarter than you, I'm harder than you, I'm better than you, I'm just wrong. I'm hotter than you, more popular than you, more clever than you, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Because I say so. That started out as just a pretty simple abstract painting. In college, they're like, you need to find someone to follow and do his style or paint like him. But I sure didn't want to copy anybody. So I started doing, I guess what became emotionalism, my own style. And it definitely took a few years and 100 paintings before it was really working well and kind of just became my style, We went to somebody else's art show and met up with these guys afterwards. We were discussing art, and this guy started questioning me. And so this kid was just like, "What do you mean emotionalism? Or why do you think your stuff is so different or so great? Abstract expressionist?" That's what he kept saying I was. And I'm like, no, because it changes so much. It all depends on my mood. How do I fit into anybody else's movement? What do I know about France 200 years ago and the reasons that they painted? It had nothing to do with me. And we argued, and I finally was just like, because I say so. It's my art, and you can't question me on it. It's like question me on how I wear my hair. So I went home that night, and in big red letters, I wrote the date right at the top center of the painting, and then I wrote "Because I Say So" all in one word, and I signed it Brohan. Me and my brother call each other that. And why did I sign it a different name? Because I say so. Why did I put the date big and red right in the middle? Because I can, because I say so. And it finished it so perfectly. Most of them used to be on canvas because that's what we learned in school, and that's what I thought it had to be, or and then I kind of realized I can paint on any damn thing. It's about the time I graduated. That's when we started painting on the walls and the fence and the garbage can and the refrigerator and toasters, and I can paint on crazy things that Hansens have done throughout history. One time in this bar, I guess this guy was chasing my dad around with a lighter, trying to light this dynamite that was in his back pocket. And boy, that was a funny thing to my dad. He loved telling that story. You almost blew up, and yeah, wasn't that funny? If he thought they were flying too low, a couple times he was shooting at them, laying there in a pile of beer cans shooting at an airplane. It's part of my childhood, We had one really great hayride. There were probably 13 of us crammed in this wagon, and my dad's pulling with the tractor, and we were going to go way out behind our house and take this long hayride. And the first thing he wanted to do was let's climb this super steep, dangerous hill. And halfway, the tractor pops a wheelie, and the tongue of the trailer was just wood, and it snaps in half. And we go racing down this hill towards the creek with, like a 10-foot drop off down to big chunks of cement that they'd been dumping from broken up roads. And I don't know how fast we were going, but imagine 13 people in a wagon rolling down a steep hill and just screaming, and it hit a bush and we flipped over it. And I remember doing like a complete flip in the air one time, way back in the 50s, downtown Des Moines. Two of my aunts, Aunt Betty and Lane from Audubon, they found this big Greyhound bus running, sitting out on the street, and they stole the bus and drove around downtown for about 20 minutes till the guy caught them. And they were just so cute and young, he let them go. My dad used to tell a story about, I don't remember if it was him or his brother Palmer that had a tooth that needed pulled really bad. And so the other one grabbed on it with a pair of pliers and drug him all around the kitchen floor just by his tooth, trying to pull it out. It's just an everyday occurrence, This is a list of everything.
A list of everything?
These are all the bees.
This is so far.
Yeah, so far 400 and some paintings I've done. Mainly, most of them in the last like 4 or 5 years. Oh, not many J's. I gotta do, I only got 4 J paintings, 2 K's, 4 I's,
right
4 H's, 7 D's, 1 E.
You should just start randomly reading off some titles.
Tour de Frank. Haggis Merkel. A cubist sprinkle fell.
Aging as gracefully as her mind will allow.
Dyke Bar.
Human succotash.
Gooseberry Kazoo.
Yeti reprisal.
Byzantine thingamajig. Bunk bed in purgatory.
Death bunny chumps. Pocahontas money shot.
Das, come over.
Sesame Street on fire.
Pickle chaperone. The final days of Uncle Fluffy. Phone sex. Juggling my flesh circus.
I am Big Pantera indeed.
Wake up, Bugs Bunny! Pop goes my pee-hole!
Caramel apple rocking horse.
World famous big red guy tripping over 2 beach balls motor lodge.
Still life with architecture in mind. Big brown bus barrels by night. Woo! Velisca trombone.
Pooperella.
Caligula popsicle.
Kayla's fun spot. Kayla's G-spot.
Gooseberry kazoo.
Gooseberry kazoo.
Yes.
Perfect.
What was that?
The problem is I don't paint in a way that you can really tell where it's going sometimes until He always wore cowboy boots, and he was this little hyper crazy kid that I guess he wasn't really a bully or a class clown, but that's how I remembered him. So I did a